Good morning, everybody. This is another edition of the Spreadsheet Sports video podcast that we are going to be doing. A lot of it's going to go with the articles, but when there's an early slate of games, especially a larger early slate of games like today, then I'll do a breakdown and a run through of those games. And then I'll go through the article and stuff a little bit later. Sorry for not posting a video yesterday, kind of describing everything. My wife and I are trying to close on a house, and we had the inspection, and it lasted a little bit longer than usual because we found out there's termites. So I know you don't want to hear about that, so we'll start with the games today. There's 8 games on the early slate. A lot of offense can be had. Some decent pitching matchups. Hope everybody kind of stayed off my Garrett Cole pick yesterday. Picked the Twins in the morning, but lost the Pirates in the afternoon. So if you played in our 10-man tournament, then you know that I kind of finished in 7th. So looking for a little bit of revenge today, and hopefully I can get that. We do have Top Tom 40 is the one that actually took it down. He posted, looks like, let me double check this here. Looks like 39 points. So he did an absolute fantastic job yesterday. And he went with Ryan Vogelsong in the early or in those late games, and then used the Colorado Rockies to kind of beat everybody. So that was a crazy and wild game last night, and it's one of those reasons why you should pay attention to those higher over-under games, is because especially when they're in Coors, they can – more times than not, there's gonna be some runs on the board, and especially with the weather getting warmer, there's gonna be a lot more home runs. Hopefully, you guys listened to my advice a couple days ago and played Paul Goldschmidt. He absolutely had a monster game yesterday. Finally hit one out, and I'm going back to the well today. I love my Rockies, and I love Jorge De La Rosa, who typically actually pitches better at home than on the road. But you got Paul Goldschmidt, a lefty in Coors Field. It's cake from there. So first game that I'm going to go through is going to be the White Sox and the Tigers. We got Carlos Rodon at a plus 126 favorite versus Alfredo Simon, who's a minus 137 favorite. This total is it looks like an 8.5. And as much as Carlos Rodon has been the flavor of the month for DFS, he's not in a good situation right here. The Tigers are absolutely mashing left-handed pitching, so much so that they have a 331 WOBA and a 142 ISO. They do tend to strike out a lot, but with JD Martinez back in that lineup, or sorry, not JD, Victor Martinez back in that lineup, JD Martinez has now become one of the hottest hitters in baseball. Of course, Miggy had the day off yesterday, so he's back and he's refreshed. And one of the lower-owned players that keeps going low-owned is against left-handed pitching for the Tigers is going to be Rajai Davis. So top 6 in the order are all in play. Don't know. Let me look and see if we've got that lineup released. It looks like that lineup is released. So we've got Davis, Kinsler, Cabrera, V-Mart, Cespedes, J-Mart, Castellanos, James McCann, and Iglesias. So we always talk about catcher being a punt position. If you're going to punt it, my complete honesty is I wouldn't go with James McCann. I would steer down to that Colorado Rockies game, because since Hundley actually caught yesterday, it looks like Michael McHenry will probably be the catcher of choice today. And he is an absolute killer and crusher versus right-handed pitching. So, and he is only going to be $2,900 on FanDuel. So it gets you exposure to Coors, and he's still a relatively cheap punt play. So the White Sox, the only one they're stay away from the White Sox. Their offense struggles mightily. They had a leadoff home run from Adam Eaton yesterday, and then Phil they kind of got shut down. So it's one of those things you don't really want to mess with. The White Sox, Abreu, yeah, he's in play in GPPs. Hopefully he can get a hold of one. But as far as cash games, stay away. There's a lot better options today on the slate. So I don't mind Alfredo Simon here just because the White Sox are absolutely horrible. Like I said, with their offense, he's got a 1.5 ERA at home this year. He's only averaging about 6.5 Ks per 9 inning, but you're talking about a White Sox team that has a 295 WOBA and only a 119 ISO against left-handed pitching this year, or right-handed pitching this year. So that's something that he's a larger favorite on draft of the day. So that's something that you can always take a look at and attack there if you want to. So I would probably do him more for a tournament, take advantage of the White Sox, and kind of load up on bats. He's not that expensive on FanDuel. It looks like he is only 8,100. So there's he's the fifth highest priced pitcher on FanDuel today. So you've got some major upside there that you could actually tinker with your lineups with. So the good thing about it is we've got Baltimore and Boston next. This is an 8.5 over under. You got Miguel Gonzalez going against Eduardo Rodriguez. And I think that this is a game that we're going to want to attack this morning. Yeah, Eduardo Rodriguez, he's been doing really good. But he's got a 7.71 ERA in Fenway Park this year. He's taken on an Orioles team that has got a 315 WOBA and a 154 ISO against left-handed pitching this year. Manny Machado, Jimmy Paredes, they're all in play, absolutely, which is good. Let's see, we've got the lineup out. Chris Parmelee, a lot of people might actually shy away from this matchup just because of the fact that it'd be lefty on lefty. I wouldn't really worry about it too much. He's got a 398 WOBA and a 176 ISO versus left-handed pitching this year so far. Now, I know it's a small sample size, but he's come up and he's absolutely just crushed games or crushed people this year. So it looks like they got Nolan Reimold batting third, which is a premium lineup position, so he might be a cheap outfield punt play. But Matt Wieters is right around that 3K range again. He's 3.1 K. Delman Young is going to be my fade of the day. He's over the last couple of years, he's absolutely just fallen off versus left-handed pitching. Chris Davis has actually got better numbers against left-handers this year than Delman Young does. So it's Steve Pearce is in a good matchup. So get creative if you're gonna pick on this game. But I really like the Boston Red Sox bats today. Xander Bogaerts is batting in that 3 hole again. Mookie Betts, Brock Holt, David Ortiz is batting cleanup. Pablo Sandoval right now, who's kind of gone strictly to batting left-handed for the time being. No Hanley Ramirez, but that's okay. It'll allow us to kind of get through there. Jackie Bradley's not in a bad position as far as a cheaper punt play in the outfield, and you can do that wraparound stack that we've actually talked about. So I'm staying away from the pitchers in this just because I don't trust Red Sox pitchers. Their defense is not that good, and I really don't trust Baltimore Orioles pitchers going in Fenway. That's kind of their bugaboo. So next game that we're going to talk about is going to be the Oakland Athletics versus the Texas Rangers. We got Sonny Gray, who's a minus 152 favorite, versus Colby Lewis, who's a plus 140 underdog. It looks like that total is at a 8.5. The Rangers lineup just came out. We got Ronette Odor batting leadoff. Not a bad little pump play at second. Prince Fielder, Adrian Beltre, Mitch Moreland, Joey Gallo. That'd be who I was going to stack if I was going to go with the chaos and the cash theory that I like to throw out there. I would stack those four, maybe throw Sinsu Chu in there. I'd stay away from Elvis Andrews just because you'll find Troy Tulowitzki in all of my lineups at shortstop today. So as far as on the A side, I love Sonny Gray. Absolutely love him. Up, down, left, right, through. He's my number one pitcher on the board today. Even though he's a 152 favorite, he's got it working for him right now. He's up for the Cy Young. Everybody in that Oakland A's lineup is in play against Colby Lewis. We saw last night they put up a ton of runs in a hurry, but they're all in play. Ben Zobrist has been playing out of his mind lately. Eric Sogard has been hitting the ball really, really hard. And if you look at Sonny Gray's stats versus everybody this year, you're looking at he's got a 22.7 strike or K percentage. He's got a 1.58 ERA away from the Coliseum. So, I mean, you're looking at his xFIP and everything says that he's due to regression, but by the time that we get into June, you're looking at a larger sample size. He's already pitched over 100 innings, so you're looking at a lot of things that could actually work in your favor if you choose to decide to go that way. So the good thing about it is that it looks like he is 10.1 K. He doesn't have as much K upside as far as DeGrom, and I'm really in Texas with it being warm. I'm really kind of worried about that. Those left-handed bats there, but I don't think it should be anything to worry too much about. It's one of those situations where he could end up going deep into the game and allowing 2 home runs, 2 solo shots, 1 to Prince Fielder, 1 to Joey Gallo, and you're still happy with the output. So the next game that we're going to go over is going to be the Mets at the Brewers, and a lot of things to like about this one. And the reason I say that is the Mets are not a good offense at all. They tend to not have any power. And one of my biggest GPPs pitchers of the morning is going to be Taylor Youngman. He's a slight underdog at a plus 115 from DeGrom, who's a minus 125 favorite, which is very, very shocking because of the fact that he's so good. But the complete and total reason is because the Mets can't score runs. So that total, Vegas has it at a 7 right now. And if you look at the indicators, you've got DeGrom, who's been pitching very, very well. He's got a 9.06 K per 9 and a 25% strikeout rate. He's allowing a 212 WOBA to right-handers and a 269 WOBA to left-handers. And where he is susceptible to the long ball, the Mets just don't have that in there to get power. You might throw Lucas Duda in a GPP play. Let's see if that lineup's out yet. It looks like it is not out yet. The Brewers lineup is out yet. Geraldo Parra, Jonathan Lucroy, Braun, Lynn, Peterson, Segura, Jeanette, Hernan Perez. So against DeGrom, you're really probably I would maybe sprinkle in Braun. If I had to play anybody, it would probably be Adam Lynn. But at 3.7K, I can find better options on FanDuel for in a better matchup. So the next game is going to be Dodgers and the Cubs. We had some weather concerns a little bit earlier, but it looks like that's kind of cleared out. We've got looks like a minus 138 favorite for Jonathan Lester. And a plus 130 favorite for Carlos Frias and the Los Angeles Dodgers. I like Kiki Hernandez in this matchup against lefties, especially hitting at the top of the order because of the fact that he gets on, he's going to steal bases. We all know that Lester's got problems throwing over to first base. We all saw that his last start when Billy Hamilton basically would turn a walk into a triple. So take advantage of that. I like Justin Turner. He absolutely crushes left-handed pitching, and Scott Van Slyke, I believe, is going to go relatively under-owned just because of that. Yasiel Puig moves down to the 5th spot, and that's I don't know what Donnie Baseball is doing, but at 3.7K coming out of the 5th spot, he might be a little sneaky. As far as the Cubs, I love the Cubs today. Love the wraparound special as far as GPPs are concerned with my stacks, and I don't see anything not to like. Coughlin, Rizzo, Bryant, Castro's batting in the cleanup spot. You've got Mike Baxter, who might be a nice little GPP flyer as far as outfield is concerned. He absolutely is. He's very good against left-handed pitching, it looks like, in a small sample size. So just stay away from David Ross. Wrap around with Addison Russell. Maybe go Russell, Coughlin, Rizzo, Bryant, or Russell, Rizzo, Bryant, Castro, something like that, just so you know that you can get some exposure in there. It looks like we've got a 7.5 total because the wind's blowing in. I don't think the wind plays as much into it as it used to as far as Wrigley's concerned this year, probably because they built those bleachers and the scoreboards out and right and center. So that's something that you want to kind of pay attention to as we get a larger sample size over the course of the year. So then we've got the game of the day. In my opinion, it's where the most offense is probably going to be. We've got the Diamondbacks at the Rockies. You've got Ruby De La Rosa versus Jorge De La Rosa. So we got the battle of the La Rosas, the De La Rosas. Quick analysis. I love, like I've always said, Paul Goldschmidt in this one. Stay away from David Peralta today. We got him at a basically for free the other day at 2.5K going into Coors batting cleanup. They jumped him yesterday at $1,000 up to 3.5K, but Jorge has absolutely just dominated left-handed hitters this year. You're looking at a 311 WOBA for the Diamondbacks with a 124 ISO versus left-handed pitching. So it's one of the higher ISO or lower ISOs of the day. So and like I said, he typically pitches better at home than he does on the road. I don't know why. He's comfortable being in Coors Field. So Jake Lamb, I probably won't worry about him today. If I'm going anywhere on the Diamondbacks, it's going to be Paul Goldschmidt. It's going to be probably Yasmani Tomas. It's going to be AJ Pollock. Nick Ahmed at 3.2K if you want to be a little bit different and not have Tulo in your lineup. The difference is between Tulo and Nick Ahmed. Yes, they can both go deep, but who's more likely to go deep twice, have 4 or 5 RBIs? It's going to be Tulo. So anything can happen on one given day, but if we keep playing the consistency and keep playing the numbers over the course of the season, then we'll be able to be successful. So as far as the Rockies are concerned, love the left-handed bats. Absolutely love them. Charlie Blackmon, Ben Paulson. Those are the only two lefties in the lineup. But the Rockies absolutely crush right-handed pitching as well. They struggle against lefties. They're good against righties. But Charlie Blackmon and Ben Paulson are both players that are going to be in my lineup. I don't foresee William Rosario being in that lineup. He's not very good against right-handed pitching. He's elite against left-handed pitching. I expect probably Rafael Yanoa to make his way into that lineup this afternoon. It'll probably be Blackmon, LeMahieu, Tulo, Arenado, Paulson, McHenry. Will be in there. He'll be in every single one of my lineups. And then it'll probably be Yanoa, Barnes, and then Jorge. So if there's any surprises in that one, then it'll probably be very, very shocking to me. So all the bats are in play like always, but that's just kind of an idea of where I'm targeting just because of the numbers and the splits for righties and lefties. So now we're going to go down to the Padres and the Giants. And the second pitcher on my board today is going to be Chris Heston. The Padres are bad against righties, and Chris Heston pitches better on the road. This is only a 7 total, and even though Heston's a 119, only a -119 favorite, and he doesn't have a really, really high K percentage, or strikeout to walk, or sorry, K per 9. I'm not worried about that because of the fact that the Padres absolutely strike out a ton versus right-handed pitching. So they've got to just to give you an idea of how bad the Padres are versus right-handed pitching. They've got a 291 WOBA and a 133 ISO. And they strike out, looks like 22.4% of the time. So there are only, it looks like there's only one team that's worse against their preferred handedness today. And that would be the Mets. So that gives you kind of idea. They're in the bottom 3 or 4 versus right-handed pitching. So with with them being an AT&T, that's not something I'm looking to target. As far as the bats for left-handers, James Shields has given up 20 home runs this year, or 16. I'm sorry. He's given up 7 to the righties, 9 to lefties. He strikes out a lot, but he allows a lot of power as well. So the Giants, I would probably be targeting some left-handed bats. Looks like we don't have that lineup yet, but Joe Panic, Angel Pagan, they're both in play. Brandon Belt is somebody that has cooled off a little bit, and I feel is still a little bit underpriced. He's a nice little option for you at 3.1K down there at first base. Staying away from Brandon Crawford just because of the fact that I'll have Tulo. So, but he's not a bad. So if I'm going to attack James Shields, which I'll have some exposure to it, I'm going to attack it from the left-handed side of the plate. I'm not going to spend 3.7K for Buster Posey. Everybody's going to. Sure, he might hit a home run, but I'm going to get that exposure with Michael McHenry at Coors Field for $800 cheaper. So it's just the way I go. I try to get, especially my cash game lineups, I try to get a little bit of exposure to every game that I feel could be a good matchup to exploit. But James Shields is either going to go out and dominate and go 8 innings with 14 Ks and 1 or 2 runs, or he's going to get absolutely shelled because that Padres defense, although it's better, is still not very good. So last game on the slate this morning is going to be the Atlanta Braves versus the Washington Nationals. We got Matt Whistler, who is a plus 146 favorite, going against Doug Fister, who's a minus 159 favorite. Vegas has this total set, it looks like, at 7.5. Okay. Little bit of a rant on this one. Doug Fister has regressed. He is not worth the money that the Washington Nationals have signed him for. He is a upper tier pitcher, more of a number 2 than a number 1, which is where he's at now. The problem with that is when you combine a guy who pitches to contact and allows batters to put the ball in play, you've got 2 things that happen. One, you've got the ball in play for the worst defense in the majors to screw it up. 2, he has the potential to blow up on any given moment. The Braves don't strike out a lot. They put the ball in play. Sure, they don't have Freddie Freeman, but Nick Markakis is a contact guy. I'm going to attack Doug Fister today. It might end up blowing up in my face, but I'm going to attack Doug Fister. If I'm punting first base, I'm going with Joey Turdados, whatever. I'm going with Joey Turdosovich. I'm going with AJ Pierzynski. I'm going with Nick Markakis, Jace Peterson, Cameron Maybin. Those first 5, 6 with Kelly Johnson, those first 6 in that batting order, I'm going to have some exposure to going against Doug Fister. On the national side, GPP plays only. I know Matt Whistler is he's a rookie. He's only pitched, it looks like 8 innings, but they're just so expensive and they're boom or bust. So Bryce Harper and GPPs all day long. It's just one of those things that is going to happen. You're looking at Ian Desmond, Denard Span, into the lineup. So keep watching for those lineups. That'll determine a lot of where we go and how we do it. Make sure you keep updating your projections tool as well with that lineup. When those lineups come out, I tend to do mine about every 15 minutes or so. That way I can make sure I get those. So guys, we got about 1 hour and 15 minutes to lineup block. I hope that you guys were smart, and as you were doing some research on your own, you put this in the background and just listened to me and didn't watch a lot of it. I'm not the prettiest face to look at in the mornings, and you might not like a lot of my Colorado Rockies homerism. I got my Tulo jersey on today. I'm ready to rock this morning's slate and win some money. So, guys, remember the way to take down GPPs is always to capitalize off of chaos and turn chaos into cash. So I did that yesterday with my twin stack against Chris Sale. Chris Sale was 65% owned in the slam yesterday on FanDuel, and I had Minnesota Twins everywhere. So that turned out pretty nice for me. So guys, good luck in your contest this morning. Remember, we have our Spreadsheet Sports tournament. It's looks like 4 entries so far on FanDuel. It's been a lot of it's fun. We're going to try to kind of do this every day, just to kind of interact a little bit more and stuff like that. As always, follow me on Twitter at BoomersDFSDaddy or Sheet Sports. Leave a comment in the Google Plus section. I've got a lineup review coming out this afternoon. He doesn't know it yet unless he listens to this, but I'm actually going to break down top 40 Tom's winning lineup from yesterday with 39 points and give my thoughts on what I would have done differently, even though it was a good lineup, what I would have done differently, where I would have made some pivots. And I'm going to do a side-by-side breakdown with my lineup, so you can kind of see my thought processes and everything that goes with there. I don't claim to be the best in the world, but I'm really consistent, and I love diving into these things and giving everybody a different perspective and viewpoint from just what they see. So it allows you to kind of expand and say, oh, wow, I didn't think of that. which is kind of nice. I do it all the time. I listen to a lot of other people give their opinions and stuff, and I try not to let it cloud my judgment and cloud my mind. I still trust myself, but as I'm learning and as we go, and as I started to grow in this industry, I had to take a lot of things into consideration, and I absolutely took a lot of other people's advice and how they were doing into it as well. So, guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, topics you want me to hit, please don't be afraid to touch up and touch base with me. Brian always responds very quickly as well. So, for Spreadsheet Sports, good luck, everybody, this morning, and hope you take down a GPP and make yourself some cash.